G'day guys, Red Wired here, Aussie Strong Woman. I hope you enjoy these videos as much as I do. You're watching World's Strongest Fan.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. First up, it's Jacob Finity. He says, I had to represent the stone lifters against the sandbag lifters. This is a 470 pound stone to shoulder, complete with duct tape. He says he's not going to be submitting those numbers for official Strongman Games because he already has his invitation, but Nico Chaprales put up a monster sandbag, and so he wanted to do something out of respect. We now move into the bench press, and here is Sebastian Oreb out in base gym. He says 170 kilo bench for 2 sets of 6 reps. This is very far from my peak strength, but I have lost 20 kilos. Next up we join Blake Lehue. He's competing at the American Pro, and that's 215 kilos or 474 pounds. Next up, and also training bench, it's Joseph Tumbarello. He says it's time to crack down and stop wasting my potential and start taking advantage of my genetics. I've been gifted. We now move into some overhead pressing, and first up it's William Ralph with an unofficial junior record. He says, I felt a bit bad after my recent comp, so I decided to have a play with some dumbbell overhead. That's an awesome lift, 108 kilos or 238 pounds. Now next up we join Andrea Thompson, training on the log. She says, who had a holiday in the middle of their comp prep? I did. The weight of this is 122.5 kilos or 270 pounds. She says it felt heavy and it looked heavy. Next up we move into some squatting, and first up it's Poland's Mateusz Kieliszkowski. The weight on his bar today is 220 kilos or 485 pounds for 3 reps. Here's a clip from Hunter Henderson. She says, I'm currently taking a long off season to try and build. It feels good to take some pressure off and just have some fun. The weight today is 240 kilos or 530 pounds for 2 reps. Next up it's powerlifter Bob Matthews. He's also squatting. The weight on his bar, 310 kilos or 683 pounds for 2 reps. Next up it's Gwayne Johnstone. The weight, 320 kilos or 705 pounds, and that moved really quick. Here's a lift from Delroy McQueen. He says, nothing special in training this week, I'm just preparing for the Irish Pro Invitational. Now we're back again at the American Pro, and here is Blake Lehue. The weight on his bar, 330 kilos or 727.5 pounds, and he also gets a good lift. Next up it's Alex Simon, training out in base gym. He says, this is the best I've ever moved this weight in my opinion, and that's definitely good to see because he's coming back. Next up it's Rob Spence. He says, my last heavy squat session before the Powerlifting Series ABS Pro 2022. That's 390 kilos or 859 pounds. Next up it's Tony Cliff. He's doing some squats equipped. He says, back on the pain train. Next stop, the Arnold Sports UK. That's 390 kilos or 859 pounds for 2 reps. Next up we join Red Wired, who says, this is my final heavy Dinnie Stone session before my actual lift at the Gathering Scottish Festival in Portage on the 7th of August. That's 302 kilos or 665 pounds combined. We've now got a moving event, and it comes from Spencer Remick. He says, this is my yoke training from a few weeks ago. It's 411 kilos or 905 pounds for 80 feet, and he rounds out the first half of today's video.
Sko kjellin, laga. Já. Vel gert.
One tap.
Ríkalegur.
Það var krúsin.
Hvernig gerist þú að svitna? Easy.
Oh, easy. Good job. That's one, that's halfway. Oh boy.
Koma svo. Klára meti. Koma kall. Vel gert.
Now we're into the second part of today's video, and we kick off with the deadlift section. Here is powerlifter Susanna Toth, pulling 200 kilos or 441 pounds for 3 reps. She said she didn't have a great session, but she went home, regrouped, and came back. Next up, we join Tyler Young, who says, I'm dialing in for Denver. This is 665 pounds for a speedy single. That's done on an axle from a height of 13 inches. Next up, and also pulling from that height, is powerlifter Luke Nall. It's 320 kilos or 705 pounds. Here's a clip from Ryan Bennett, the current England's strongest man. He says, I had a great session down at Koru Gym, pulling 330 kilos or 727.5 pounds for 2 reps. Next up, it's Kane Morgan, 50 kilo PB for him. He's pulling raw on an axle with 332 kilos or 732 pounds. That's an awesome lift. Next up, we join Bob Matthews. He's pulling sumo. The weight, 345 kilos or 760 pounds for 2 reps. Now as the weights move up, we join Yangsu Ren. Here is 380 kilos or 838 pounds. He leans back and stands up strong. We now move out to Canada, and here is Gabriel Rayholm. He says, this is my prep for the Shore Classic. It's 408 kilos or 900 pounds from 13 inches, and that's a personal record for him. Here's a clip from powerlifter Jamal Browner. He says, my deadlifts are feeling strong, aren't they always? And speaking of strong, here is Dan Grigsby. This is the new 275 pound all-time deadlift record, 487 kilos or 1,074 pounds. That's incredible. Now next up, we join powerlifter Tamara Walcott. She had an awesome time at the American Pro. First up, she gets the heaviest women's squat of the day with a weight of 272 kilos or 600 pounds. Next up, she moves into the bench press, and again, it's the heaviest bench of the women with a weight of 172 kilos or 380 pounds, and she makes sure to get a good lift. She finishes off today with the deadlift, and this is actually heavier than her current all-time world record. The weight, 290 kilos or 639 pounds. That means she's got the heaviest total of all time with a weight of 734 kilos or 1,619 pounds. That's amazing. Now seeing us out today, it's powerlifter Russell Orhe working on his squat with a weight of 306 kilos or 675 pounds for 4 reps. Anyway guys, that's it from me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. We had some really good clips and also a couple of records. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you again as always on the next one.